During free agency, teams find themselves in a position where they can really shake up their rosters with hopes of setting themselves up for a cup run or at the very least, a playoff run. In this video, we're going to be going through some of the best free agent signings to ever happen in the NHL. Ed Belfour and the Dallas Stars. Ed Belfour's rise in the league may have never happened if the Dallas Stars had never signed him. Before his time with the Stars, Belfour spent 8 seasons split up between the Chicago Blackhawks and the San Jose Sharks, where his save percentage was never better than a .907 and his goals against average was 2.65. Belfour was putting up average numbers, and because of this, his playing time was slowly decreasing. In 1997, the Dallas Stars made a free agent signing that significantly changed the team's identity, making them a top-notch contender in the league. The addition of Ed Belfour provided them with instant stability between the pipes, helping them create a foundation and allowing them to stay competitive for years to come. After signing with the Stars, Belfour's level of play reached new heights. In his first season with Dallas, he had by far one of the best seasons of his entire career. We're talking a 1.66 goals against average and a .916 save percentage, recording 37 wins in 61 road games, helping the Stars win the President's Trophy that season. But wait, it gets even better. In the following season, Belfour stepped up once again, helping the team reach the playoffs where his goals against average was 1.67, going along with a .930 save percentage. Belfour had 3 playoff shutouts that postseason, and more importantly, the Stars won their first Stanley Cup in franchise history.
And now, you skate the cup. And boy,
making this run even more impressive, that Stanley Cup win came against one of the best goalies to ever play in the game, Dominik Hasek. Belfour outbattled Hasek with a 1.26 goals against average. The following season, Belfour helped the Stars get back to the playoffs, reaching the conference finals, and recorded 4 shutouts along the way. Ed Belfour gave the Stars a chance to win every time he was on the ice. And it was his time with the Dallas Stars that solidified his place in the Hockey Hall of Fame. Zdeno Chara and the Boston Bruins. In 2006, the Boston Bruins made a free agent signing that helped bring their franchise great success for the many years to come. Zdeno Chara was coming off a 3-year stint with the Ottawa Senators, where he posted 35 goals and 103 points in just over 220 games. The Bruins and Chara agreed to a 5-year contract worth $37.5 million, and what they didn't know at the time was that Chara would spend not just those 5 years, but 14 years with the organization, making an impact on the team in so many different ways.
Blows an edge. Here's Chara. The drive scores! Zdeno Chara's first hat trick!
Bringing in the 6'9" defenseman immediately strengthened their blue line, not only in their own end, but in the offensive end as well. Before Chara, the Bruins' top scoring defenseman was Paul Mara, who had just 18 points in the previous season. Chara not only helped lead the team on the ice, but he also stepped into a leadership role off the ice as well, eventually becoming the captain of the team and the longest tenured captain in the NHL. During his time with the Bruins, Chara clearly made an impact, as it seems like everyone who played with him had something positive to say. He set the bar in so many different ways as far as work ethic, leadership, commitment, communication, empathy, you name it, said Sean Thornton, a forward who played with Chara in Boston for 7 seasons. Chara was one of those players who always had to be first on the ice and last off of it. During his 14 seasons with the Bruins, Chara scored 481 points in 1,023 games. He won the Norris Trophy in the 08-09 season, the Mark Messier Leadership Award in the 2010-2011 season, and of course, he helped the Bruins hoist up the Stanley Cup in 2011. With this UFA signing in 2006, the Bruins were able to bring in someone who not only made a significant impact on the ice, but completely changed the culture of the entire organization. Scott Stevens and the New Jersey Devils. After the 1990-1991 season, the St. Louis Blues signed forward Brendan Shanahan from the New Jersey Devils. Because of this, the Devils were entitled to compensation. The Blues offered up Curtis Joseph, Rod Brind'Amour, and 2 draft picks, but the Devils had someone else in mind, defenseman and Blues captain at the time, Scott Stevens. Following a long arbitration case that we just won't spend any time getting into, it's a bit of a sticky situation. Stevens' rights were awarded to the Devils, but he just wasn't happy with that deal. He was actually so unhappy that he refused to report to the team's training camp. But as I'm sure you're aware of, the New Jersey Devils will eventually grow on Scott Stevens, as he would stay with the team until he retired in 2004. When he arrived in New Jersey, Scott Stevens was best known for his offensive skills. He already registered 4 seasons of 60-plus points, setting a career high in the 87-88 season with 72 points. However, his game completely changed when he put that Devils jersey on. As a Devil, we saw Stevens playing his game with more control as the team put great emphasis on their defensive play. Stevens adopted a greater focus on his defensive game, and because of this, his offensive contributions dipped dramatically. But that wasn't a bad thing. Stevens became a force in his own end, earning the status of an elite shutdown defender who played physical but smart, choosing when to make his big staple hits rather than always trying to throw the body around. As a result of this, Stevens' plus-minus went up significantly. The Devils made an unprecedented run in the early 2000s where they made the Stanley Cup Finals in 2000, 2001, and 2003, and Scott Stevens was instrumental in helping his team get there. During his time with New Jersey, Stevens led the Devils to 3 Stanley Cup championships and won the Conn Smythe Trophy in the 99-2000 season. Stevens retired in 2004 as a New Jersey Devil and made the Hall of Fame just 3 years later. Curtis Joseph and the Toronto Maple Leafs. In the 1990s, Curtis Joseph was one of the premier netminders that the NHL had to offer. Spending time with the St. Louis Blues and the Edmonton Oilers, Cujo was known as a clutch playoff goaltender. His regular season stats were fairly average, but was looked at as a postseason hero. In 1997, the Toronto Maple Leafs were 3rd last in goals against and then 5th last in the 98 season, which brings us to when Cujo arrives. In 1998, the Toronto Maple Leafs signed Curtis Joseph as a free agent, which immediately paid off for the club. In a time where goals dried up across the league, the Leafs, coached by Pat Quinn, were one of the few offensively minded teams, which means Cujo deserves a lot of credit for being there at that time. Playing with a team in front of him that was only focused on scoring rather than defense, it was up to Cujo to bail them out, which he often did. In both 1999 and 2000, Cujo was the runner-up for the Vezina Trophy as the league's best goaltender and never averaged higher than a 2.56 goals against average during the 4 seasons he spent with the Leafs. Over what was a 4-year stint, Joseph notched 133 wins and 88 losses to go along with a .912 save percentage, which were the best numbers he ever had with any team throughout his career. The only thing Cujo couldn't do was bring a Stanley Cup to Toronto, although he did get them to the Eastern Conference Finals in 1999 and again in 2002. Teemu Selanne and the Anaheim Ducks. There have been a few times that Teemu Selanne found himself signing with the Anaheim Ducks, but what has to be the most impressive stint with the team is his post-lockout signing that was looked at to be a pretty risky move. Teemu Selanne signed a 1-year, $1 million contract with the Anaheim Ducks on August 22, 2005. In his previous season with the Colorado Avalanche, Selanne posted just 16 goals and 16 assists in 78 games. Selanne was reaching his mid-30s, and that's typically when we see players' productivity starting to slow down. But Anaheim took a chance, and did it ever pay off? In Selanne's first 2 seasons back with the Ducks, he rewarded the franchise with 2 90-point seasons, both with over 40 goals. In 2006, Selanne achieved quite a few milestones. He was named the recipient of the Bill Masterson Memorial Trophy for dedication and perseverance. He became the 36th player in NHL history to score 500 goals, and he played in his 1,000th career NHL game. In the following 2006-2007 season, Selanne put up 15 points in 21 postseason games to help the Ducks win the Stanley Cup.
Score! Number 1,000 for Teemu!
Selanne's impact was felt from when the Ducks signed him to when he retired at the age of 43. Selanne's the franchise's leader in goals and points. He remains one of the most, if not the most, popular players in franchise history and is widely recognized as the greatest skater to ever play for the Anaheim Ducks. Thanks for watching our videos. Don't forget to hit that like button, and if you're new to the channel, hit that subscribe button, and we'll see you in the next video.